So one of the biggest surprises that I found when I was doing the exam is this. I've seen lots of candidates who speak English fluently and they still don't get the score that they need. So how is that possible? I'm a real IELTS examiner and let me explain. People, they often assume that IELTS speaking is simply a test of how fluent they are in English. But fluency is only one part of the assessment in the exam. That's why someone who sounds confident can still receive a disappointing score in the exam. Now, the key thing here is that the examiner is looking for communication, and the speaking is assessed on 4 criteria that make up communication. That is vocabulary, fluency, grammar, and pronunciation. So if one of these is a little bit weak, then that can affect your overall score in speaking. And by the way, I teach online, and if you have a class with me, I can let you know which of the 4 criteria you are struggling with, and that can help you go to a higher band score level. Now, fluency doesn't always mean accurate. I've heard some candidates speak continuously for 2 minutes, and the problem wasn't fluency. The problem was that they were making simple mistakes with things like some place instead of some places, or chairs instead of a chair. These small grammar mistakes are going to have quite a big impact on your score, even if you are fluent in the exam. Another reason is that quite a lot of candidates struggle with some of the words that you need for a range of topics like technology, environment, shopping. So they can speak quite fluently, which is good, but when they want to communicate about something like shopping, they're struggling to find the words, and that can also have an impact on your score, even if you are really fluent during the speaking exam. Another big reason why fluent speakers during the speaking exam don't get a high score is that they are not answering the question. It's really important that you only answer the exact question the examiner is asking you during the exam. Otherwise, your score will be much lower. So if they ask you, for example, where is your hometown? Just tell them where your hometown is. Do not tell them about the food or the people or anything else. Many fluent speakers also struggle with saying each word clearly. They tend to mumble during the exam, and they say something like this, where they're not really opening their mouths very clearly. And so you can't, as an examiner, hear each word clearly, which can have a big impact on your score, even if you're pretty fluent during the exam. So band 7 isn't for someone who's really impressive. It's just someone who can do the 4 skills fairly well so that they can communicate effectively in an English-speaking country. So that means someone who's fairly fluent, says most of the words in a way that a native speaker could understand. The grammar is good enough so I can understand what they're talking about during the exam, and they have the vocabulary they need to talk about a range of topics. And you need to have all of these 4 things to get 7. Now, if you're already fluent, that is great, but don't assume that fluency alone will carry you to band 7 or band 8. Also, work on your control, work on your accuracy, and work on your pronunciation. I've examined candidates with average fluency who achieved higher scores than people who sounded much more confident. And the reason for that is that IELTS doesn't reward confidence, it rewards communication. So that's your ability to have a natural conversation with someone in an English-speaking country in which they understand and you understand and can participate. So if you'd like more videos explaining how examiners think about the exam, then click subscribe and I will continue to help you for your next exam.